Okay, so another update here, and this is on the fires. You remember the fires like 6 months ago in the Palisades in California? Apparently, they have now found the arsonist. Remember when it was just climate change? It was out of control. No, it was this asshole right here, allegedly. So 0 Hour put this up. He's been really good with getting news and information out there. Leftist started the California wildfires. Anyone surprised? So here's the press briefing about this guy, some of his information, and how they got him. It's really bizarre. So he resides in Florida, but drives an Uber in California. Do the math on that one. It's not like, it's not like, oh, hey, honey, I'm going to go to the next town over because it tends to be busier and I get more fares when I go over there. We're talking about just a tad of a difference of driving here in order to get that other place. Why the fuck do you live in California and reside in Florida and Uber in California? They don't give an answer to that right now. They just clarify it, and I'd fucking love to hear how that works.
This is a Fox News alert. An arrest has been made in connection with the deadly and destructive Palisades fire that destroyed thousands of structures, including people's homes, and ruined countless lives across the city of Los Angeles. Now, any moment from now, there will be a formal announcement of those charges. An acting U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, Palisades, will speak alongside other law enforcement officials. We will bring that to you live once it begins. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Kayleigh McGee-White, Fox News contributor, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, and Charles Payne, host of Making Money.
Of this lot that was burned out behind me, which represents thousands of lots in the Palisades, but also in the mountain area behind me, that is where we believe the origin of the fire began, near what's called the Skull Rock.
So it was January 7th, so it's taken them about 8 months.
Expected to announce the arrest and possible
to catch one asshole who drove an Uber.
Moment. Now, the homeowners here in the Palisades and thousands others, they want answers, and we believe we're finally going to get some very specific details in just a matter of moments. Authorities here say 12. Toss it back to you guys.
Okay, so they're coming in and they're going to make their statements.
We will take you live to Palisades as he announces that arrest.
So 6,800 buildings damaged, 12 people killed.
Is that everyone? Okay. Good morning. I'm Palisades, the acting United States Attorney for the Central District of California. Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings. The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison. The defendant was arrested yesterday on a federal criminal complaint near his Florida residence, and he's expected to make his initial appearance today in the federal court in Orlando, Florida. I stress that the complaint contains allegations and every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it. And we're going to put that up on the screen here once we get that going. The allegations are, there it is. That's from his ChatGPT. That's an image he produced a few months before the fire started. It shows the city being.
So there it is on the left. He used ChatGPT to produce this image of, I guess, kind of the vision that was in his head, which was the fire starting in California over here while people are watching over there. I don't understand the total significance of that.
Burned there. The allegations are further supported by the defendant's cell phone, his false statements to law enforcement, and his behavior during the Lockman fire, which the defendant is charged with maliciously starting shortly after midnight on New Year's Day of this year, and which eventually became the Palisades fire. Late last New Year's Eve, Rinderknecht returned to Pacific Palisades after working the evening shift as an Uber driver. Two of his passengers told law enforcement that he appeared agitated and angry that night. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, Rinderknecht parked his car and tried and failed to contact a former friend. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire. The defendant had listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire. 12 minutes into the new year, environmental sensing platforms indicated that a fire had started. It took the defendant several tries to contact 911 to report the fire. He fled the scene in his car, but turned around after passing fire engines driving in the opposite direction to fight the fire. While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene. Although firefighters suppressed the blaze, the fire continued to smolder and burn underground within the root structure of the dense vegetation. So that fire started on January 1st, and it smoldered underground for about a week until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground, causing what became known as the Palisades fire, one of the most destructive wildfires in Los Angeles City history. Law enforcement got to work and by January 24th had identified and interviewed the defendant. During his interview, he lied about where he was when he first saw the Lockman fire, claiming he was near the bottom of a hiking trail. Geolocation data for the 911 calls showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew. As the world watched in horror as the Palisades fire burned, victims perished in the smoke and flames. Homes where cherished family memories and belongings were turned to rubble and ash. The iconic Pacific Coast Highway along Malibu looked like a war zone. Thousands of people were forced to evacuate. Though homes and businesses cannot be rebuilt, this arrest, we hope, will provide a measure of justice to all those who were impacted. We're going to do questions at the end, and we're going to get into more detail, but I want to thank the outstanding partnership we had in getting this case to where it's at.
Okay, so he brings the ATF person on,
and
he talks about a little more of the details.
Proud to announce an arrest in connection to the devastating Palisades fires that claimed lives, destroyed homes, and shook this community to its core. Jonathan Rinderknecht, age 29, residing in Melbourne, Florida, was taken into federal custody by ATF special agents, a Los Angeles City Fire Department investigator, and a Los Angeles police detective. This partnership and arrest is significant in the three agencies working hand in glove to get this investigation to where it is. Rinderknecht, as the U.S. Attorney mentioned, is charged under Title 18-844F, malicious destruction by means of a fire of real property owned by an organization receiving federal financial assistance. I know this community has endured a long wait for answers. Families have carried an unmanageable grief, and an entire community has been left to heal while living with questions. Although we cannot share every detail of this investigation, it is still an active investigation, and judicial proceedings remain ahead. I can tell you this: from day one, ATF and our partners have been relentless. We made a promise to find answers, and we have kept that promise. To give you a sense of the work, I want to highlight the extraordinary level of cooperation between ATF and our partners. The Los Angeles City Fire Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Orange County
So,
Fire
blah, blah,
Authority,
blah. It's just
and the
they
United States
patting
Forest
themselves
Service.
on the back for taking 8 fucking months.
Digital data, DNA samples, all analyzed by ATF's state-of-the-art forensic lab. Our team carried out 500 scientific tests supported by ATF's fire evidence. And I highlight this because I know there's questions on the length that it took us to come to this conclusion. But we were reviewing a lot of evidence from one of the most catastrophic fires in the U.S. history. Through this extraordinary team effort, investigators determined that the Palisades fire reported on January 7th was caused by an intentionally set fire near a viewpoint along the Temescal Ridge Trail in Topanga State Park on January 1st. The fire was a holdover fire, meaning it was deeply seated in dense vegetation and roots and continued to burn undetected until catastrophic weather ensued, resulting in the Palisades fire. Rendernesh is now charged with setting the January 1 fire. We know this arrest cannot erase the pain or grief or losses endured, but we hope it is a step forward. It is proof that justice will not be forgotten.
Yeah, it took you 8 months to do it. But so for all the leftists that say, well, don't you see how important climate change is? No, it was just a mentally ill person that's allegedly one of your crew. I mean, this is what they're alleging here. These people are making climate change, and this dude's got an oil canister. He's setting things on fire. Days without radical violence. These people are putting all this up online. The look of the leftist grift. This is their climate change crisis. Newsom, Bass, how many of these climate change changes have occurred thus far alone? And so cute how you've given them each a real name and identity. So, they're suggesting right now his name is climate change. So, 0 Hour is claiming right now that this guy is a leftist. He hasn't put out any other information, but we're going to wait to see his social media, how he was doing different things. I really want to know why the fuck he was going from Florida to California to drive Ubers. I'd love to know that one. Like Miami or something, you can't get enough business there. So maybe his boyfriend lived in California, and he would drive there while he was visiting him. Who knows? You know how the left works, but. There you go. Here's the guy right here that burned all of that down and did all of that damage, hurting the earth, burning down people's homes, and having people lose their lives. While the left tells you, and Greta Thunberg, how dare you, tells you that we have to fight for the environment, and these assholes are burning the whole place down. That's the updates I've got for you today. Please like, share, support, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all real soon.